What's up? It's your girl Destiny Alexis, and I wanted to stop by to give you guys a little bit of a inside scoop of what's been going on in my life and kind of where I'm at with business, with motherhood and everything, right? So as you guys saw earlier this month, I kind of was struggling with managing motherhood and entrepreneurship. It was kind of difficult at a time. So there are many things I can be frustrated about, especially with mistakes in business and feeling overwhelmed with motherhood and things like that. But I was talking to God today in my mind, and I was like, I can't do it by myself. Like, I've been trying to mentally prepare, mentally do things. I've tried to use as much bandwidth as I can to do everything myself. And honestly, I just told him, I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do the impossible. And I'm not saying the things that I'm trying to do are impossible. I'm saying it nearly is without God. And the only way that I can have hope when things are not necessarily going my way in business or necessarily going my way in my day-to-day life with motherhood and trying to manage both, I know that with God, I'm either going to learn something from it, I'm learning something from it, or no, Kyrie. Ultimately, he's using it to show me or teach me something. And so, hey, I just said no. You could play with the remote. You could play with that. It's okay. So anyway, I'm just taking a day at a time. I was in a season where I was trying to launch a product, and I was trying to fix a mistake that was made on my box, and that kind of like irritated me, right? But the biggest thing that I learned was the fact that ultimately, if you're doing something for God and if you're doing something that is from your heart, full of great intention, I believe that God will help fix those issues or those problems for you. And there's no sense in really stressing over it. And so just as I'm sitting here, and you guys saw earlier, I'm reboxing 1,000 press-ons. It's a reminder to remember that God will always turn those things around for you, even if you feel like it's a mistake or even if you feel like it's something that kind of sets you back a little bit. And this is for the person that may feel like they're behind in life, who may feel like they are in a season where they don't really know what to do with their life. Trust me, I was attending college, trying to figure out my route. I was actually going to school to be a teacher. I was in early childhood education classes, trying to figure out my way, right? And as I went through life, I attended beauty school, and I remember dropping out because I was in a toxic relationship. And God ultimately transitioned me into the person that I am today to be able to achieve the things that I've been able to achieve. And even more so going forward, as we're nearing 2024, I want you guys to remember that it's important for you to remember where you've came from. And there's been times in my life where I've been, at my lowest of lowest times, but God was always there, even if I didn't know that he was in the first place. And how he transitioned and flipped my life around, the things that he's done in my life, only he and I know, because there's been times that I've spoken to him on a deeper level about the things that I didn't like, about the insecurities in life that I had, about the direction in which my life was going, and even where I felt like it wasn't going, because there's been times where I felt like I was behind in my life and I was confused, and those are just private conversations that I've had with God. And for him to be able to do what he's doing in my life now is only because he has been able to work through me because I've allowed him to do so. So I say all of this to say that possibly you're in the situation that you're in because you're not allowing God to work through you, and you've possibly forgotten about him and left him on the back burner. And I encourage you to pick it up, pick your Bible up, pick up your faith again and just believe in God and believe in the fact that he loves you, he knows you, and he's going to turn this thing around for you, even if you feel like it's not happening the way that you expect it to happen right now. And so I'm looking at my shelf of inventory, and I'm sitting in this office, and I'm thinking about where I've come from. I'm thinking about all of the things that I've encountered in life, all of the obstacles that I've had to overcome, all of the different battles that I've been faced with. And I say all of that to say that it was worth it. And so even though I'm not sure where God's taking me going forward, I believe that as long as I stay close to him and as long as I trust in his plan for my life, it can only be good. And that's the same thing for you. God knows the desires of your heart, and he will give you what you ask for as long as it's within his will for your life. So as long as you're doing things that are from good intent and you don't mean any harm from what you're doing, God will honor those things if it's in his will for your life. And so I encourage you to just ask God to take control of your life and direct your path and guide your steps, because ultimately he knows exactly what you need and he knows exactly where you're going in the first place. I've said a lot, but I really felt led to just talk, you know, because sometimes I don't just speak how I feel. And I've been offline for at least 3 weeks now. I'm sorry, girl, but I have. And I took some time to myself to get clear. You know, there was a lot of distractions. There was a few things that took place in this time frame that God had to teach me a lesson. And it had to do with people, and it had to do with people that may look like they are for you or they have your best interest in heart. But ultimately, that's where discernment comes in. You know, there's going to be certain seasons in your life where God is going to teach you certain lessons, and he's going to reveal certain things to you at the appointed time. And I really felt like that was a lesson I needed to learn. And for whatever reason, I learned it. I did not want to, but I feel much stronger and much better having gone through that season, having learned that lesson, because it's an important and valuable lesson for me going forward. And so if there's any confusion in your life right now, if there's anything that is a little unsettling, best believe that God is teaching you a lesson, and you better know that it is worth it. And it's important for you to learn this lesson so that you can be smarter, wiser, and have more discernment going forward. So with all of that said, I pray that you guys are, you know, happy, you're living a blessed life, and with God, it is possible, and he will turn it around and work it out for you. I truthfully believe that. And even if it feels like it's not working in your favor, just know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And so even in your good times, even in your bad times, even in your stressed out times, God is working it out for you. So I'm going to go ahead and go. But I pray that this video is helpful for you. I pray that you guys are, you know, coming closer to God, that you're having those uncomfortable conversations with him and letting him into your heart. He knows you enough already. He knows you. He knew you before you were born. There's nothing too big, too wide, too small, or too outrageous that God can't fix. And so give him your problems, because he'll fix them for you. Love you. See you in the next video.
Let's stand together wherever you go, I'm going. When no one's left, ain't no need to be stressed, you'll be right there. You keep on pouring and it's overflowing your blessings. You show me love, thought it didn't exist, but it's right here.